Brendan Smyth's weekly property tip. Joining us again and glutton for punishment is Jason Werrett, our director and selling agent. Thanks for joining us again, mate.
No worries.
First off the bat, today we're going to talk about the importance of presentation in your home when you're selling. But firstly, what we might talk about, Jason's appearance has changed a little bit. We did the world's greatest shave on Monday and made some great news. How much we raised?
Yeah, so far through the community, we've raised just over $20,000 of inbound, donations.
Yep.
And from our company side of things, we've also thrown in $10,000 as well from our side of things. So so now we're tipped over the 30K mark, which is very, very impressive, and we're really happy with everyone and want to thank everyone for their support as well. It's been outstanding.
And also a great cause for the Leukemia Foundation, which impacts children right through to the elderly as well.
Yeah, so that's right. It's a good cause. It's not only just to support families and people going through it, but it's also for research to try and find cures, and they've got targets, which is great to see. So yeah,
and you look better too.
Yeah.
So back into the topic for today, presentation and the importance of it. So mate, first off the bat, presenting your home, what's it about? What is it to start off with?
Yeah, basically, I think whether you're selling your home or whether you're looking to rent the property out, presentation's key no matter what. So it's the biggest part of selling a property, is how people are going to perceive the home. A well-presented home is typically taken as well cared for.
Yep.
So, that's the way people, when they walk into an old Nana's home, yes, it might be a bit dirty, they've got the old furniture and that sort of things, but when they're well cared for, everyone loves those kind of properties because you feel the love in it, and it feels like it's just in great condition.
Normally immaculate too.
Yeah, that's right.
Everything in a place.
Yeah.
Also, a term that we like to throw around is going from live mode to sell mode, especially obviously when you're getting ready to sell. How do you see that, mate?
Yeah, so sell mode is obviously in that mode of having the home presented at its best. Yep. So decluttering the property. We don't mean depersonalising it, so don't get rid of photos and things like that out of the home. We want people to walk in there and still see that someone lives there, and that it's a family or not, but it's that it is livable. But the live mode side of things is your day-to-day living. So where you might leave some things on the kitchen sink, the magnets and the invites and all the calendars on the fridge. The shoes at the front door, and there's nothing wrong with that, but when you're in that selling mode, it's very, very key to have everything ready, and we always recommend picturing the home as though you're a buyer walking through, and also not just for yourself, but sometimes when we do group inspections, you might have 4 or 5 groups and sometimes families coming through pretty much one after the other at the same time.
Yeah.
And a good sized home can feel pretty small in those circumstances. So that's where that decluttering and making sure furniture placement's well, you've got nice, clear benches and things, just to make things appear as their best.
Yeah. Perfect. And also, I guess you've got to think about the smells even. Like, presentation is not just about looks, it can be the smell. You walk into a couple of places and we've had some pretty rough ones.
Yeah.
But we've also had some lovely homes as well where if a buyer walks through and says, "Oh my goodness, this smells great," straight away that's the first. You can't do a second impression. So certainly really good from that aspect.
It's like the saying when you go to a restaurant, you eat with your eyes.
Yep.
If the food smells good and it tastes great, if it doesn't look good, it still ruins the experience a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
So, and looks-wise can also make a meal not so great. Feel a little bit better. So, from that side of things, definitely, we're not saying hide pets, but certainly not everyone is pet lovers, especially inside.
Yep.
So, trying to eliminate evidence and odours from that side of things. Like the old saying, put a loaf of bread in the oven, get that baking smell, make it feel homely, all that sort of thing. Cool. So it actually does work. It definitely does make people feel more at home and engaged when they come through the property.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So 4 key areas we like to look at. Jace touched a little bit before, declutter, which we talked about. Paint.
Yeah, paint. Look, you don't have to go through and paint a whole home out, but if there's something that really is showing not its best. They definitely recommend painting a wall, doing your skirting and architraves. They're probably the key ones, is the skirts and arcs. It definitely will pretty up the home, and then usually with kids, the areas that get knocked around the most, tearing up hallways and moving furniture in or out of doors, that sort of thing.
Doors,
So,
yeah, for sure.
if they're fresh, usually walls don't need quite as much to do. So yeah.
Gardens, obviously the third point. Where do you see the gardens, mate? Am I getting my Dom work on?
We're lucky enough that we're not in drought, so everyone's yards are probably looking the best that they ever have now for quite a while.
Nice and green.
So lawns are looking good. Keep them, nice and fresh. A well manicured lawn does definitely add value. And of it, just the whole appeal of it. Gardens, mulching, de-weed, although just the basics. You don't have to go and re-landscape your whole yard, but what you do have there, make it look usable.
And
I think is the
fresh.
key. Usable and fresh, yeah.
Especially if your photographer's about to come a day or two beforehand, remulch just the day or two before.
Nice fresh mulch, hasn't discoloured that much, so that's definitely good. And just the weeds. That's the downside of our season at the moment with rain, is weeds are going crazy. So try and keep them under control.
Lastly, furniture. Probably more so on the back of if you're a partly furnished home, not, I suppose, if it's all vacant, you just keep it vacant. What are your thoughts on furniture?
Yeah, I think just, again, view it from a buyer walking into the room, and does it look right? Is it not necessarily matching, but is there something out of place that you think, what that room could do without having that armchair in the corner, that coffee table that's a bit too big in the middle of the room, or something like that. I think just don't strip the house out, still make it as appealing and useful as you can. But I think just assess them and make sure that furniture doesn't create issues for people viewing the home.
That's right.
Oversized furniture can be a bit of a killer.
Yeah, and also identifying a room too. I think if you've got one of those utility rooms, it could be a bedroom or it could be a living room, it could be a study, you probably want to dress it to say, well, this is what it is, without having to buy it, a guess. All good. Now, in any market, we're talking presentation, does it impact? Obviously, at the moment, it's fantastic. We've got plenty of buyers around, probably outnumbering easily the amount of property that's available. When the market wasn't as hot, did it impact it? Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, so things like this are what will make your properties any market. And some people might think it's not quite as important at the moment, but if it does, if it makes that extra person fall in love with your home, or they just love it that little bit more, that can then relate back to income, the dollar sign that they're willing to pay for it. So, but certainly on the flip side, if it is in a tougher market where there's more property for sale than there is buyers, this is your advantage of standing out above the rest. So, you can't control the location of the home, but you can control how it presents to the public and the market and the buyer community. So the better it looks, the more appealing you make it, the more opportunity you're creating for yourself.
No, perfect. Thanks again, mate, for coming in today.
No worries, my pleasure.
Thanks for obviously watching again. If you're watching on the newsletter, there is an unsubscribe button down the bottom. If obviously you don't want to watch any more of these. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a little alert button you can hit to get notified when we post the next property tip. Thanks again for watching. If you do want to leave any comments, we're happy to do a video on any topic that you like, as long as it's real estate related. Get some strange requests. But otherwise, thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you next week for the next property tip.
Thanks very much.